Luke chapter 7. Epede epleurosen pantata remata autu esta sakoas tu lau eselten eskaparnahum. And when he finished all his words in the hearing of the people, he entered into Capernaum. Hekaton tarku detinos doulos, and of a certain centurion, a servant, kako sekon, having sickly, ermellen deleutan, he was being about to die, about to be dying, hos nautoi entimos, who was being for him very highly valued. Acusas de peritu Yeshu. But having heard about Yeshua, apestelen prosauton presbyterus ton Jehudaion, he sent to him elders of the Yehudim, eroton auton hopo selton diasoseiton dulon autu, asking him that, having come, he might save his servant. Hoide paragenomenoi proston Yeshun, and they, having come by to Yeshua, parekalu nauton spudaios, earnestly were begging him, legontes hoti axiosestin hoi parexei tuto, saying that he is being a worthy one to whom thou would afford this. Thou shalt afford this. Agapai garto etnos hermon, for he is mindfully loving our nation. Gaitern synagogue nautos oikodomesen hermin, and he built for us the synagogue. Hode Yeshu se poreuetos synautois, and Yeshua was going with them. Öde de autu umakran apekontos apotes oikias. But presently of him not being distant from the house, epempsen pilus ho hekaton tarkers, the centurion sent friends, legon autoi, saying to him, Kyrie, Lord, merskulu, don't be troubling thyself. Ugar hikanosemi, hina hypotern stegernmu eselteis, for I am not being worthy, so that under my roof thou shouldst come. Dio ude emauton exiosa prosse elten. For what reason neither I regarded myself worthy to come to thee. Alla epe logoi, but say thou a word. Gai iaterto hopaismu, and my lad shall be healed. Gaigar ego anthroposemi hypo exousiantas somenos, for I also am being a man under authority being appointed or set. Ekon hypemauton stratiotas, having under myself soldiers. Gailego tutoi, and I am saying to this one, poreuterti, go thou. Gai poreuetai, and he is going. Gai alloi, and to another, erku, be thou coming. Gai erketai, and he is coming. Gai toi duloimu, and to my servant boyerson tuto, do thou this. Gai boye, and he is doing. Acusas de tauta, and of him hearing these things, hoyeshus etaumasen auton, Yeshua marveled at him. Gaistrapes toi akolutunti autoi okloi, and having turned to the crowd following him, Epen, he said, Lego humin, I am saying to you, Ude entoi Yisrael tosauten pistin heuron. Neither in Yisrael such faith have I found. Kai hypostrepsantes estonoikon, hoipemptentes heuron ton doulon hygiainonta. And the ones having been sent, having returned into the house, found the servant being well. Kai egeneto entoi hexus, and it became in the next day. Eporeuter espolin galumenen nain. He went into a city being called Nain. Kai suneporeuonto autoi, hoimater taiautu. And his disciples were going together with him. Kai oklos polus, and a great crowd. Hos de öngidsen, dei pylöi des poleos. And as he drew near to the gate of the city, Gai idu also, behold, exekomidzeto tetnerkos monogenes huios dei metriautu. They were carrying out one having died, an only begotten son of his mother, Gaiauter Kura, and she was being a widow. Gai oklos des poleos, hikanos sunautoi. And a considerable crowd of the town was being with her. Gaido nauten hocurios esplanknister ebautoi. And having seen her, the Lord was moved in his bowels upon her, on account of her. Gai penautoi, and he said to her, Merklaie, don't be thou crying. Gai proselton, herbsato, des soru, and having approached, he touched the bier. Hoide bastadzontes estersan, and the ones bearing stopped or stood. Gai epen, and he said, Neaniske, young man, Soilego, to thee I am saying, Egerteti, arise thou. Kai anekatisen honekros, and the dead one sat up. Kai erksato lalen, and he began to be speaking. Kai edo kenauton tei metriautu, and he gave him to his mother. Elaben de pobos pantas, and fear took all. Kai edoxadzon ton theon, and they were glorifying the god Legontes Hoti, saying that Propertus Megas, Gerta and Hermine, a great prophet, hath been arisen or raised among us. Kai Hoti, and that Epeskepsato Hoteos ton Laonautu, the god visited his people. Kai exerten hologos hutos en holöje töi Jehudaiae periautu, kai pasei töi perikoru. And this word went out into all Judea about him, and in all the surrounding region. Kai apöngelan Johannei hoimata taiautu peripanton tuton. And his disciples, the disciples of Yohanan, brought word to Yohanan about all these things. Kai proskalesamenos tuotinas ton mateton autu, ho Johannes epempsen proston kyrion legon su ho erkomenos allon prostokomen. And Johanan, having summoned 2 certain disciples of his, he sent to the Lord, saying, Thou art being the one coming, or we shall be expecting another. Paragenomenoi de prosauton hoiandres epen. The men, having come near, therefore, to him, said, Johannes ho baptistus apestelen hermas prosse. Johannes the Baptist hath sent us to thee. Legon su ho erkomenos allon prostokomen, saying, Thou art being the one coming, or are we expecting another? Enekenoi toi horai et serapeusen pollus aponoson, kai mastigon, kai pneumaton poneron, kai diplois, pollois e carisato plepen. And in that hour he healed many from diseases and afflictions and evil spirits, and to many blind ones he graced to be seeing. Kai apokrites epenautois, and having responded he said to them, Poreutentes apangelate Johannei haedete kai erkusate. Having gone, report to Johanan what things ye saw and ye heard. Diploi anablepusin. Blind ones are recovering sight. Koloi peripatusin. Lame ones are walking about. Leproi katsarizontai. Lepers are being cleansed. Gai kopoi akuusin. And deaf ones are hearing. Nekroi egerontai. Dead ones are being raised. Ptokoi evangelizontai. Poor ones are being evangelized or having good news preached to them. Kai makarios estin. Hosean me scandalistoi enemoi. And blessed is who should not be stumbled by means of me. Απελθόντων δε των αγγέλων Ιωάννου έρξατο λέγειν προς τους όκλους περί Ιωάννου. And of the messengers of Yohanan having departed, he began to be saying to the crowds concerning Yohanan, Τι εξελθάτε εις τον έρημον θεάσασθαι. What ye went out into the wilderness to see. Galamon hypo anemu saleuomenon. A reed by wind being shaken? Allati exultate iden, but what went ye out to see? Anthropon en malakois himatiois, pies menon. A man in soft clothing having been arrayed? Idu hoien himatis moi en doxoi kai drupoi hyparkontes en tois basileoi sesin. Behold, the ones being in splendid or glorious clothing and being in luxury are being in the kingly palaces. Allati exultate iden, but what went ye out to see? Properton, a prophet? Nay, yes. Lego humin kai perisoteron propertu. Yes, I am saying to you, and more excellent than a prophet. Hu tosestin peri hu gegratai. This is being whom it hath been written about. Idu apostello ton angelonmu prosopusu. Behold, I am sending my messenger before thy face. Hoskataskeuaseten hodonsu emprostensu, who shall prepare thy way before thee. Lego humin, I am saying to you, medzon en genetois gynaikon Johannu udesestin. Nobody among the ones born of women is greater than John, than Yohanan. Hode mikroteros entoi basileai tu tseu. But the least in the kingdom of the God, medzon autu estin, is being greater than he. Kai pas holaos acusas, kai hoitelonai, edikaiosen ton theon, baptistentes, to baptisma Johannu. And all the people having heard, and the tax collectors, glorified the God, having been baptized with the baptism of your Hanan. Hoi de parishaioi kai hoi nomikoi dön bulen tu teu ötetösan es heautus me baptistentes hypautu. But the Parishim and the lawyers set aside the counsel of the God for themselves, not having been baptized by him. Tini un homoioso tus anthropus tes geneas daudes. To what therefore shall I liken the men of this generation? Kai tini esin homoioi, and to what are they like? Homoioesin paidiois toisen agourai katermenois kai prosponusin allelois ha lege eulösamen hymin kai ukorkösaste etrönösamen kai ukeklausate. They are being like little children, the ones in the marketplace sitting and calling to one another, saying, We piped for you, and ye danced not. We sang a dirge, and ye wept not. Luten gar Johannes, ho baptistes me estion arton me te pinon oinon kai legete daimonion eke. For Johannen the baptizer hath come, not eating bread, neither drinking wine, and ye are saying, He is having a demon. Luten ho huios tu anthropu estion kai pinon kai legete idu anthropos pagos kai oinopotes pilos telonon kai hamaratolon. The Son of the Man hath come, eating and drinking, and ye are saying, Behold, a gluttonous man, and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. Kai edikaiote her sophia apopanton ton teknon autes, and the wisdom was justified from all her children. Erota tetis auton ton parishaion, hina pagai metautu. And a certain one of the Parishim was asking him so that he might eat with him. Kai esel ton estonoikon tu parishaiu gadeklite. And having entered into the house of the Parishi, he reclined. Kai idu gune hertis ern, entei pole hamartolos, and behold, a woman which was being a sinner in the city, kai epignusa hotika takketai, entei oikiai tu parishaiu. And having known that he was reclining in the house of the Parishi, gomisasa alabastron muru, having taken an alabaster flask of ointment. Gaistasa opiso para tus podas autu glaiusa. And having stood behind around his feet, weeping, tois takrusin erksato breken tus podas autu. With the tears, she began to be wetting his feet. Gai tais trixin, tes kephalus autus exemassen. And with the hairs of her head she was wiping. Gai katepile tus podas autu. And she was kissing his feet. Kai erlepen toi muroi. And she was anointing by means of the ointment. Idon de ho parishaios ho kalesa sauton epen en heautoi legon. And the Parishi having seen, the one having invited him, he said in himself, saying, Hutos ön propertus epignosken antis kai potapö högynö hötis haptetai autu hoti hamaratolosestin. This one, if he were being a prophet, would be knowing what sort of woman it is which is touching him, that she is being a sinner. Kai apokrites ho Yeshu sepen prosauton. And having responded, Yeshua said to him, Shimon, Shimon, Eko soitib epen, I am having for thee something to say. Hode, and he, didaskale, epe, person. O teacher, say thou, he is saying. Duo creo peletai san danistai dini. Two debtors were being to a certain creditor. Hohes o pelen denaria pentacosia. The one was owing 500 denarii. Hode heteros penteconta, and the other 50. Me ekonton auton apodunai, poterois ekarisato. Of them not having to repay, not having enough to repay, he graced both of them. Dis un auton pleon agapese auton. Who therefore of them shall love him more? Apokrites Shimon epen. Having responded, Shimon said, Hypolambano hoti hoi to pleon ekarisato. I am taking it that the one to whom he graced more. Hode epen autoi urtos ekrinas. And he said to him, Rightly thou hast judged, thou judged. Gais trapes prostern gynaika. And having turned to the woman, Doi Shimoni eper. He was saying to Shimon, Plepes dauten gynaika. Thou art seeing this woman. Esel tonsu ester noikian. I entered into thy house. Hudormoi epipodas ukedokas. Water for me upon the feet thou gavest not. Hauter de tois takrysin ebreksenmu tu spodas. But she, by means of the tears, wet my feet. Gaitais drixin auters exemaxen, and by means of her hair she wiped. Pille mamoi ukedorkas. A kiss to me thou gavest not. How döde a purse eselton udielippen gata pilu samu tu spodas. But she, from when she entered, ceased not kissing me, kissing my feet. Elaioi tön kepalönmu ukelepsas. Oil thou didst not anoint to my head. Hauter muroi ölepsen tu spodasmu. But she, by ointment, anointed my feet. Hu karin legosoi. For what reason I am saying to thee, apeontai hai hamaratiai autos hai pollai. Her sins, many, have been forgiven. Hoti ögapersen polu, because she loved much. Hoi de oligon apietai, oligon agapai. But to whom a little is being forgiven, a little he is loving. Epen de autoi. And he said to her, Apeon taisu hai hamartiai. Thy sins have been forgiven. Kai erksanto hoi synanake menoi legen en heautois. Tis hu tosestin hos kai hamartias appearsin. And the ones together reclining began to be saying in themselves, Who is this one being who is forgiving also sins? Epen de prosters gynaika. And he said to the woman, Her pistis su seso kense. Thy faith saved thee. Thy faith hath saved thee. Poreu eserenen. Be thou going into peace.